Thank you, Anya, and it's great to be here, and thank you all for logging on after your day's work. My name is Orna Mulhern, and I'm delighted to be introducing this session on behalf of Fáilte Ireland and the Enterprise Development Team, and more importantly, to introduce our trainer Amanda Webb, who I'll hand over to in a moment. Before we begin, we have a small, very quick poll that I'll ask Anya to post now, just regarding where you heard of the session, and that helps us to promote our sessions in the best possible way for yourselves and your peers in the industry. So we'd really appreciate your feedback on that poll now. And to introduce Amanda Webb for this session, really delighted to have Amanda on the call. Amanda is a trainer and a digital marketing strategist, and she works with small to medium-sized businesses to help them develop strategies that will improve their business outcomes. She also teaches businesses how to create content, including video, written and visual assets for their digital marketing, as well as providing training in various social networks. And she really just has a real expertise in mentoring and consulting businesses on their digital strategies and their digital campaigns, including their social campaigns. And she regularly manages and builds Facebook ad strategies for her clients. Amanda has a really excellent session for you today. She will also be taking questions towards the end, so just pop those in the chat box. I know she'll probably answer them as she goes, but certainly leave them there and we'll come to them at the end of the session. So delighted to hand over to you, Amanda.
Thank you, and it's so glad so many of you joined us on this cold Tuesday evening in October, so thanks very much for coming. So today we're talking about everyone's favorite social network, right? Facebook. We're going to look at, you're going to find out how to set up your Facebook page to improve sales, to improve conversions. And if you've already got it, how to optimize it. You're going to look at the different sorts of content and posts that you can put on Facebook. Going to look at how you would create a content plan based on that. And we're going to look at Facebook Business Suite and how you can use that to manage your page and find out if you're getting results. So I know you've just finished a poll, but I want to just start a new poll because I want to know, just before we start, how confident are you at using Facebook for Business already? So if you're very confident, that means you knew what I was talking about when I mentioned Business Suite. If you're not confident, maybe you've set up a page, but you post content, but you don't really know what you're doing. And confident is somewhere in between. So I'll just give you a moment to fill that in. And then you can rest your button pressing finger for a little while I talk. So great. I can see that most of you are feeling confident. We've got a couple of people who are very confident. That's delightful. I love to see that. And a few of you that are not feeling confident at all. So hopefully you'll all learn something from that today. Okay, but why are we talking about Facebook? Because Facebook's dead, right? Facebook is dead. That's what people say. But actually, as you can see, it is totally not dead. 2.9 billion people worldwide log into Facebook at least once a month. And even though it stopped growing at the rate that it was growing, it's kind of plateauing now. And when you think about it, 2.9 billion is possibly everyone that has an internet-enabled device in the world. So, you know, it was going to plateau at some stage. But Amanda, you say, isn't it just old people that use Facebook? No, actually, there's a really broad group of people that use Facebook, both by age and by gender. We can see that, you know, it peaks 25 to 34 male, which is really interesting because it used to peak female. We know, for example, that the older generation are beginning to embrace Facebook, but it's still quite a small sector. In comparison to the younger sector, it's there. Younger people do have Facebook accounts, but they just don't use them as frequently as we use them. So definitely still one for whoever your audience is to look at. And today we're going to be talking about Facebook pages, but I wanted to just kind of give you an overview of the different aspects of Facebook so you can understand how they slot together. And the three main aspects would be your profile, and that's your regular Facebook account that you might own as a human being. When you log in, you see what your friends and your family are doing. That is your profile. And that's not for businesses. Facebook don't want you to use that for business. That's for you to hang out with your friends. That's what that's about. But you do need a profile page in order to create a business page. The two are actually connected behind the scenes. A business page then is for organizations and businesses like yours, and it helps you reach your ideal audience. And the difference really between a profile and a page, the major difference is that a profile, it's a two-way connection. You become friends with someone. You see things that they post in your feed and they see things that you post in their feed. Whereas on a page, somebody follows you and they see stuff that you post on your Facebook business page, but you see nothing about them. You know nothing about them. Then there's groups. Now, groups can be really cool for business. They are a bit time consuming, so it's nothing to leap into. And you can manage a group as a business. But rather than these being about your business, these are wrapped around a topic of interest. So maybe things to do in Ireland or the history of Ireland. They could be Facebook groups that you would have. So today, as I said, we're going to focus on Facebook pages, but it's just to know what those other aspects are. So I'm going to go into a lot of live screen sharing today, which means I'm going to click a lot of buttons and I'll probably click some wrong buttons. I'm just preempting that. So let's start with our first thing we want to do, how to set up your Facebook page or optimize your Facebook page to get more sales. So now I'm going to click the buttons and we're going to see if I can go live into Facebook. And I always just stare at my screen, wondering where the thing that I want to share is. It's here somewhere. Okay, just 1 second, because I can see I'm in totally the wrong place. So I'm just going to go into my camera for a second and stop sharing altogether. I just shared, I was going to share an exact version of these slides, which wasn't going to work for us, was it? So let me just get the right page open and then I will share again. I told you this button pressing was definitely not my thing. Right, okay, here we go. We're going into Facebook Live. Right, you may have noticed that recently Facebook have changed the way that pages work. In fact, you may have just got a notification in the last few days that they switched you over to this new page experience. But even before that, they kept switching you over to your page in the notifications. And actually, that's the new way that Facebook works. So when you log in as your profile, you need to switch over to your business page. And how that works is, this is all screen grab, by the way, in the slides, if you need to look at this again, which you'll get a copy of afterwards. You'll have, say, your profile picture at the top here, and you'll need to click on that and you'll see all profiles, and then you switch to your business page. And then essentially you blocked off your personal, is somewhere else, and you are just reacting as your business. If you manage a lot of Facebook pages, you know, that's quite complicated when I go into that, and you'll see me going through them later on. It's a lot easier. There might be a button on the left-hand side of your page here that says switch, or right at the top of the page here that says switch to use this page as your business. So that's the first thing, is finding how to access your page. And once you've done that, the next stage is to look at your branding. So again, I'm clicking buttons, but it's going to get quicker this time because I know what I'm doing. Branding is so important on your Facebook page because you want to make sure that every time somebody sees a post from you, that they know it's from you, that they recognize you, and that helps build trust over time. And with our images, we've got two main images at the top that we work with. And the first one is your cover photo. That's the big photo at the top there, you can see with the fireplace. We call that, and you can change that frequently with the seasons to tell people there's something new going on, or just to freshen up your page a bit. The second piece is your profile picture, and that you really shouldn't change, because that's the piece that goes out with every single piece of content that you share on Facebook. That remains the same. And yes, of course, people can see the name of your business next to it, but people will consume a visual cue much faster. So they start seeing that little circle with whatever you have inside it and identifying it with your business. So if you do change it, maybe it's because you've just rebranded, if you've got a new logo, or there are a few things that I'll show you in a second that you might use that for. So let's have a look at some cover photo examples just to see how that might work. So here you can see from the Cliffs of Moher, this is 4 different times that they changed their cover photo. One to talk about how they were protecting people during COVID, but you can see they've got seasonal photos as well. And that's a good time to change it up. It's a constant, they actually seem to perform quite well reach-wise. So it's just telling people, reminding people that you're there. But with your profile picture, like I say, you can't really change that too much. This example from the Glen Royal Hotel, I think they just about get away with it because they've got a logo. And obviously they've had like a campaign on for Pride. So they've changed the background of that, but the logo remains the same. So even though they've changed it, it's still recognizably them. In general, just don't change your profile picture. So the next thing is your about section, and completing this, filling this out as fully as you can is important, because not only does it give all the information that a potential visitor will need, but it also helps you come up in Facebook search when people are searching for something that they need. So here's a couple of examples. You can see they're fully, they're full there. They've got their map, they've got their about section filled out, they've got all the information, links back to their website, everything. Now, when I show you how to update this stuff, I'm showing you on desktop. And the reason that I'm doing that is because, one, it's very hard to do this on mobile. And secondly, it's not always easy to access this and change this information. So I'm going to show you a demo of how to do this and update your about section now on desktop. If I can click the right button, everyone's got their fingers crossed, right? I will get there. I can see it. I'm there straight away. I'm really happy. Can you tell how happy I am? Right. Okay. So when you go into your page, the first bit that you want to go into is this about section at the top of the screen. And then you can see on the right-hand side here, there's a little pencil next to your category, and that's going to open all this up for editing. So the first thing is make sure you've got the right category. Unfortunately, you can't choose your own category. You have to choose one that Facebook recognizes. So we've got hotel resort. I know bed and breakfast works. I also know there's things like outdoor activities, outdoor recreation. Unfortunately, they don't really have something to service everything. So I was looking for like tourist attraction. It's not there. But, you know, a lot of other things are. So it's just a case of trial and error until you find something. You do need to choose something from this list of categories here. Below that, you can add your address, and we don't have an address for our fictional guest house. But if I click on add address, you see I can put my address in. And when I put my address in, it puts a little thing on the map, and I can even move that. I can zoom in because obviously I want to get it right. And I can move that little pin to the exact location. And that's really going to help anyone that is trying to find your business. The next section to go into, and this is with the new page experience, which if you don't have yet, believe me, Facebook is going to throw you over to it, and you'll have no choice very soon. You can see the rest of this about information. Looks like it's for a person, right? You know, work and education, places lived, family and relationships, seems all a bit odd, details about you, but this is for a business. So we're going to go into the details about you. And here you can see we've got an about section, and I would highly recommend filling this in. Maybe you want to take some text from the about section on your website or the homepage of your website, because this is, again, it's going to help customers know that they're making the right choice to buy from you, but it's also going to help you come up in Facebook search. So things like the fact that they've included conferences, weddings, private functions, leisure facilities, swimming pool, all of that will help them come up in search, but it's still a really interesting description to read. So just to make sure you've got that set up. The next thing to look at is your call to action button. So that's, let me just share my slides for a second so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. So we can see here two examples of a call to action button. Now, this has changed with the new page experience as well, which is kind of annoying. Here we can see Zipit have got the book now button. And when I click the book now button, I'm brought through to the booking page on their website. That is the old style of page. Annoyingly, the new styler page has changed this. So we can see here, this is a bar in my local town. And when I click the book now button there, I'm brought through to the app that they use for booking, which in this case is Open Table. So it's not linking directly to their website. And with the book now button, you actually can't link directly to your website, which, as I said, is kind of annoying. But there are a few times that you can. So let's just go into my Facebook page again. And if I want to add a call to action button, because we don't have one here yet, it's these three little dots on the right-hand side, and add action button. And it would be change action button if you already had one. I'm going to click try it. And you can see I've got all these options here. So you've got two things you want to decide. One, what action is it that you want people to take when they visit your page? And secondly, will it actually connect? So as I said, like book now, we can see connect to scheduling tool. And if I click on that and go in, it will give me an option of all the scheduling tools that it supports. For get tickets, you can actually link to your website. So if you've got a booking page on your website, or even if it's on something else like Eventbrite, you can link directly through to that. So it is just a case of trial and error here. Ones that I also reserve, you need to link to a reservation page. But you really need to think, just because you can't link your website to some of those, I would avoid things like sign up, because that's so obscure. Like people don't know what they're signing up for. Things like send a message or send a WhatsApp message or call now or send an email, depending on how you want people to connect to you, can be really good. So just think about what action it is you want people to take when they come there. And that will add a big call to action button just underneath the profile picture on your page, both on desktop and mobile. So that start a phone call button could be really good for people on mobile. The final thing is, this looks all very businessy, right? We're in the business page. How do we know what this looks like to actual normal people on Facebook? When I say normal, not business people, or not people that manage the page. So we can do that by clicking on these three dots here and view ads, and that will show us what it looks like to regular Facebook users, and we can see what the content looks like and go back and make adjustments if we feel that it needs a little bit of work. Next, we can connect our other Meta accounts. And by Meta, in case you missed the news, Facebook is an umbrella company that owns Facebook, this tool, Instagram and WhatsApp. They changed their name to Meta recently. And that's why we see things like Meta Business Suite at the top here and various things. That is the overarching name. We can actually add our Instagram account and we can add our WhatsApp account to our Facebook page. And the benefit of that is, firstly, with Instagram, it means that you can view any messages that you get on Instagram and Facebook all in the same place within Business Suite. It also means that you can cross post from Facebook to Instagram, and you can use their scheduling tool on desktop or on mobile to post to both. And I'll show you how that works a little bit later on. For WhatsApp, it means that you can add a WhatsApp call to action button to your post so people can easily send you a message. So let's look at how that would work. Hopefully I've got all the right tabs open. First thing, because it takes ages to load for me. If we click onto Meta Business Suite, that brings you through to where you connect the pages. And this is what you'll see when you go to Meta Business Suite. Then if you click on All Tools, Page Settings, and hopefully I've skipped forward. No, I haven't skipped forward to the right thing, so we'll have to wait. This is what I meant about my pages loading very slowly. And it's still great. We actually got there. Then linked accounts on the left-hand side. And now you can see we've got Instagram and WhatsApp. And it will just, you click on these buttons to connect your individual accounts. So now we've looked at how to optimize your Facebook page. Let's start talking about content. So what are the different types of content that you can create and share on Facebook? And there's probably more than you even thought. So for your feed posts, so that's the stuff that would appear in the feed of the people who follow you. That's the stuff people scroll through like I'm trying to do here. You've got your plain text posts, text on a color background, which I'll talk about shortly. You've got your photos and images. You've got your videos, which you can either upload directly as a post or you can go live. And then you've got link posts. Then, of course, you've got stories. So you've got where you can upload video clips up to 60 seconds now, and images. And then you've got reels. And of course, stories and reels, you've also got on Instagram. So if you're an Instagram user, you're very familiar with that. Let's start by looking at the feed posts. So images are great. And because you're a tourism business, you have great images. I know you have great images. And the goal of an image is to stop people scrolling. If you have an image that is beautiful enough or stand out enough, people will stop scrolling and they will read your caption. So you must always add your caption, add a caption to say why you're sharing it. Try and aim for a bit of engagement about why you're sharing it. So maybe ask a question. And as far as hashtags go on Facebook, Facebook have made many attempts to help hashtags take off on Facebook, and they never really have. So don't add too many. Don't go like you might on Instagram. You can see in this example in the middle from Hook Lighthouse, they've just added their own branded hashtag. So that might be what you would add as a hashtag. The next sort of post I want to talk about is text posts. Now, weirdly, text posts seem to get a lot of reach. But the problem is they're black and white, right? They're little black and white posts. So not only they might get reach, but they're very quick for people to scroll through. And because there's no color, people will scroll past them very fast. But I don't know if you've ever tried using the text on a color background. When you start to type a post, a short post on Facebook, it'll offer you all these different colors that you can put in the background. Now, you may never have used it because you thought it looks ugly and it's not very tourism related. But the weird thing is Facebook will show those posts to loads of people. Like, just the algorithm seems to love it. I don't know if it's an inbuilt, because it's an inbuilt Facebook feature. And I've seen several businesses trial this. I first heard about the magic of these from Social Media Examiner, who are like a big social media marketing company in the US. And during their keynote at Social Media Marketing World, they said by using text on a color background and using it in conjunction with a question, so like the one I've got on the screen now, a very short question that people will be able to answer, they increase their reach by 31% and their engagement by 75%. So you might think, oh, I don't want to use this, it doesn't really fit my page, but really, please try it, because you might be surprised at the results that you get. So that's images, text. Then we've got videos, and we know, right, Meta love videos. They really love videos right now because their big competitor is TikTok, and TikTok is all videos. So when you publish videos, very often you'll get a bit more reach. But also that means that videos should be vertical now. Meta loves vertical videos, which one, it helps because that's the format that they are championing right at the moment, because it takes away from their competition. But secondly, if somebody clicks your video and it's a vertical video and they're on mobile, which most Facebook users are, it fills the entire screen of their mobile device. So there's no other distractions. There's no bit of a post sticking out below it. They're just straight into your video and spending time with your business. But with that comes responsibility. You can't just go and post a video up there and it's no good. Or you can't just go and post a video up there and ramble on. You really need to capture people's attention right at the beginning of the video. And if you do that, they're going to want to keep watching. You also need to keep it short, because people don't necessarily go to Facebook to watch long videos. That's what YouTube is for. So, you know, a minute is kind of pushing it. That's the attention span that you have. So this is great for stuff like, and you'll get a copy of the slides with the links here, behind the scenes stuff that will help you get to know staff, like anything with your staffing or people in tend to work really well, or any tips that you've got for like maybe traveling or packing or other things to do locally. That sort of thing can work really well. And then you've got live video. Live video, just like other video, works really well. Downside is you need a really good internet connection to make it work. So if you have problems getting Zoom to work, sometimes maybe live video isn't for you. But if you do have it, it helps you capture a moment And the lovely thing is, because it's live, it's happening now. People will engage with you live. They'll leave their comments live, and you can actually respond to those in real time. So they really feel valued. They feel a really strong connection when you use live video. And the final type of feed post is like the one that nobody likes, link posts. And a link post is when you actually put the link in and it brings up a whole preview of the website, like in these two examples here. Now, people will tell you, people like me have probably told you that, link posts don't get much reach. And you know what? They're right. Link posts don't get as much reach generally as other types of content. But that's because of the algorithm. And the algorithm does show full link posts like these to people who click links. So if you are using that hack where you put a link in an image post, in the caption of an image post, not only are you making it really hard for people to find the link to click, but also it means that Facebook's showing it to people who like images more than people who like links. So definitely test it. Don't take my word for it. But I found in the past that you will get more clicks on a link click post than you will on an image post, even when the image post reaches more people. But enough about that. Let's get on to the fun stuff. Let's talk about stories, which I think everyone kind of gets now. They've been around for a while, started on Snapchat, Instagram really ran with them, and now we can create them on Facebook too. And the nice thing here is they're multimedia. You can put up a video clip followed by a text clip, followed by another video clip. You can decorate them. There's lots of inbuilt tools to add things like GIFs and text and polls and engagement stickers. They last for 24 hours from the moment that you publish them, which is nice because you can really do like in the moment stuff. And if you don't want to go and create just for Facebook, that's fine, because you can cross post whatever you're posting on Instagram to your Facebook story as well. And you can use them for things like, I love that they capture like the real time, what's happening today. And I love this example here from Glamping Under the Stars. I totally follow them if you don't already. Always sharing moments from the day and great photographs of their quirky glamp site. I think it really shows off, not only tells stories about their business, but shows off their USP. And then we're on to the new kid on the block, which is Reels. We know Reels from Instagram, right? We know that Instagram was really favoring Reels and video there for a little while. And it's exactly the same for Facebook. Reels are now a thing on Facebook. And they're your vertical videos, but usually they'd have some sort of fun element in them. There's a bit of humor or interest in there. Just like your stories, you can decorate them with stickers and text. And just like stories, you can cross-post them for Instagram, so you don't have to do a whole lot of downloading and uploading. The real bonus of Reels is Reels can help you reach beyond your existing audience, because they're not just shown to people who follow your page. They also appear in the Reels tab, which is at the top of everyone's Facebook page. And when people click into a reel, they don't just show them the reels from the people they follow, they show them things they think people will be interested in based on the content of your video. And that means that you're reaching beyond your audience. So if you're creating content that is interesting to your target market, that could bring new followers into your account. So that's the different types of content. You've optimized your page. Next, how do we put that into a schedule? Well, I've already talked about the algorithm a little bit. The algorithm is the artificial intelligence that decides who sees what when they log into Facebook. And it used to be quite basic, but now it's really complex, and it's really based on each individual user. So instead of it just being an overarching thing, each user will see different sorts of content. And it's really based on a lot of things, but 4 key elements. Firstly, the content type. And like I was talking about links, Facebook will show links to people who engage with and click link posts. Facebook will show video posts to people who like watching video posts. So it's really down to a user's own experience. That's the first thing. Then there's a relationship they have with your page. So they followed your page, but what else do they do? Do they spend time watching your videos? Do they click to look at your photos more? Do they leave comments? Do they do reactions? Do they share posts? All of those things will mean that they think they're going to be more interested in the things that you put up, so they're more likely to appear in their feed. Time of day. Are people actually online when you post your content? And if they are, this is the downside. How many other pages are publishing at the same time? So if your audience member is following 100 pages and those 100 pages all post at the same time, then there's going to be less chance of you appearing in their feed. So that's the basics of the algorithm. And knowing that, how do we get the most reach? How do we reach the most people possible? So simple things like make sure you're posting a variety of content. So some links, some photos, some videos, some of those texts on the colored backgrounds. Try it out. Please try it out. It really works. Make every post engaging. And by that, I mean, ask a question or do a thing like fill in the blank. You know, what's your favorite thing? My favorite thing to do in Ireland is fill in the blank. That sort of thing can work really well. And use reels. Because right now, right at this moment, so this time next year, it might be different, but Facebook shows Reels to a lot of people, and it shows it to people who may not already be on your audience based on interest. I know I said it before, but I think it bears repeating. If you're not getting much reach, the temptation is to boost posts, right? Should you be boosting your Facebook posts? And the answer is yes, sometimes you should. But the posts that you're boosting aren't always the ones that you think you should be. And I would recommend if a post is already performing well organically, so if you're getting engagement on that post already, that is a good post to boost because it's doing well organically. It's going to cost you less to reach more people because you always get a little bit of a knock-on effect if a post is getting engagement beyond the audience that you're boosting to. But make sure you set yourself a budget, a strict budget, because you can get a bit boost happy and then you get your Facebook ads bill at the end of the month and you're like, oh, what was I doing? Make sure when you're boosting that you're boosting to a relevant audience as well. You can actually select who you want to. It's got quite good, the boost post now. It's not just a case of like firing it out to everyone. You can get a little bit more granular with that. And the final one is the big one. Don't be tempted to boost badly performing posts. I know, right? That you spent ages creating that post and you put it up and you thought it was the best thing since sliced bread and it tanked. It didn't show it to anyone and nobody engaged with it. If you boost it, it's going to cost you a lot of money to reach people because if it's not doing well organically, it's going to be hard to reach extra people with an ad as well. So instead of that, take your post down, maybe put it up again and reformat it or rewrite the caption and try again until you get some engagement. And then that is the point that you want to boost it. Now, I know I'm only going into the basics of boosting posts today. We are actually running a Facebook ads session in November, which I know we're going to share the link with you. So if you want to know more about Facebook ads, we'll do it there. A big question I get asked a lot is how often should you post? And to be honest, everyone has a different opinion on this. But I am a believer on posting, well, definitely not multiple times a day, maybe posting less frequently than a lot of people suggest. And one of the reasons for that is that you can spend a little bit more time on a post. If you're not trying to post every day or several times a day, you can actually spend a bit of time constructing a post that might work. So my recommendation is for the feed, 3 times a week is sufficient. You can go up to once a day. If you go more than once a day, you're basically just throwing content at the wall to see what sticks. And that's a terrible waste of your time. For stories, I don't think you need to post a story every day, but when you do post a story, post more than one clip, at least 2 clips. So that could be a video clip plus an image or 2 images or 2 video clips, but more than one. And the reason I say that is because the way stories work, people will be tapping away on their phone, tapping through your story. And if it's only one clip, they tap and they're onto the next business already. It's like you've missed that opportunity to engage them. So 1 story a week is fine, but add several clips, like the example we looked at from Glamping Under the Stars there, where she had lots of clips in a row to make sure that people aren't just suddenly skipping away from it. You could go up to 3 times a week. You could go to every day if you're very adept at creating stories. And remember, you don't have to create just for Facebook. You can cross post from Instagram. For Reels as well, I wouldn't add additional content. Make one of your feed posts a week a reel. So, and also, once again, you can cross post that from Instagram. I think the important thing to remember is that every post should have a purpose or a goal. So you don't want to just throw content out there. You don't want to, for example, obsess about reach and just post out pictures of cats. As nice as that would be for me, that's not really going to serve your audience. So I consider 4 buckets of content. And the first bucket is designed to help you build your audience. That is the goal of that content. So it's informational content. It's things like tips, what to pack on a holiday to Ireland, what to bring on your outdoor adventure, things along those lines can really work. Or tutorials, anything tutorial related to do with the area of customer or the type of customer that you have. Things like memes and topical and seasonal content can work really well. Once that's all tied back to your customer, everything goes back to them, the type of people that you're trying to attract. Anything that is in their interest base. So it might be going a little way from what your business does, but once you know that that's what your audience are into, you can post about that. The second bucket is engagement, and that's all about building a connection. When people engage with you or see others engaging with you, you instantly become more trustworthy. So things like we were talking about, asking questions or asking for feedback or input, giving shout outs to other businesses, all that can help you build a connection. The third bucket is one of those phrases that I know not a lot of people are familiar with, hand raisers. And this is where you're getting small commitment from people. So this could be something like posting a link to your lead magnet. And if you're not familiar with that term lead magnet, a lead magnet is something like an ebook or a packing. I'm obsessed with packing, like a packing list or a checklist or something that people will sign up for. They will give you their email address to get that, and they can opt in to your email list as part of that as well. But also, because this is social media, you can encourage direct messaging. So ask people to direct message you if they want something or if they want to know more. And that's a really good way to just take people to the next stage. And then your final bucket is your sales content, which is things like testimonials and case studies. It's not always you saying, this is my thing, please buy it. It's things that will help overcome objections. So if somebody sees a review that somebody's left you, that helps them go, oh, other people like this, so I might like it too. Or if they go, well, I'm not sure if I can do that because it's too cold in Ireland in March. That's an objection you can answer. Did you know the temperature in March in Ireland last year was this? Or if you bring a big puffer jacket, you'll be fine. Any questions that people ask you, if you address them with your content, that becomes sales content too. So that's your buckets, but we've also got pillars, buckets and pillars. Your pillars are the topics that you are going to talk about on your Facebook page. This all, again, ties back to your audience. Think about your audience and their interests. So if maybe they love their history, their local history, so you want to talk about local history is going to be one of them. Or maybe they're foodies. They love food. So, things that you want to write about, topics related to food. Or maybe they're just outdoor adventurers, or maybe they just like to get away in the countryside. So if you can come up with a long list of topics that your audience is going to be interested in, choose the 3 that are most relevant to you, and you can rotate between those topics as part of your content. And make sure when you're doing that you are including content that is going to achieve one of those 4 goals that we just talked about, one of those 4 content buckets, because you want to make sure that it's actually turning into sales. We've actually got a spreadsheet that we're going to share with you. I put the link in the slides there, which can help you put together your content schedule. As you can see here, it's for lots of social networks, but it's a good starting point for Facebook, and that can help you plan all your content in advance. Right, before we move on to talking about Business Suite, I've got a quick poll for you, and I just want to know, do you know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about Business Suite? Do you use it? So your 4 options here. Do you use it on desktop and mobile? Do you use it on mobile only? Do you use it on desktop only? Or do you not even know what I'm talking about? That's really interesting that so many of you are using it on desktop. I guess that's because Facebook are really pushing us towards it, right? Because I would have thought a lot more people would have been mobile only, but nobody is mobile only, which is really interesting. There's 2 people haven't voted yet, so I'll just give you another moment. They're probably us, I'd say. Okay, I'm going to end the poll then, because I think most of you have participated. That's really interesting for me to know, because I kind of assume people would use it on mobile. So there you go. We've got most people using on desktop only, 57%, which is really interesting. So some of the stuff I'm going to show you, you're going to be familiar with then, which is cool. That's what we're going to talk about next. How to use Facebook Business Suite. And I'm going to show you on desktop and I'm going to show you on mobile. Fingers crossed I press all the right buttons and the technology works. Okay, so firstly, I know now that most of you know this, but I'm going to go into it live anyway. Why not? Why not see if I can share? I think this is the right one. Okay, it is the right one. Whew. Okay, so we already saw where we can access. Now I've lost my cursor. Here we go. We already looked at where we can access Business Suite from. So you'll be in your page, you click on this Meta Business Suite. I just need to move my toolbar out of the way. Bear with me a second. You end up on a page just like this, which is now you are in Business Suite. So the first thing, let's look at how we can schedule and create content within Business Suite. And it's these 2 on the left-hand side, Planner and Content. These are the 2 places that you can create and schedule. And then a big blue button in the middle of the screen. I can do it from here as well. But I'm going to go into Planner because it's my favorite bit. And look, there's lots of places I can do it from here. I can either schedule from here, I can do from here, I can click on, I can't click on a specific date. So I'm just going to click on this little down button to the right-hand side of create. And you can see there's all the different sorts of content. So create post, create story, create reel, go live. I'm just going to go into create post because we know that my Facebook takes ages to load anyway. So I don't want to give it anything too complex to do. Now, if you have connected your Instagram account, like I showed you earlier on, when I click on this, you would have the option to post either to your Facebook page, to your Instagram account, or your Facebook and Instagram account together. But for this test page, we haven't connected those 2. So I'm just going to leave it at that. So you can create your text on a color background here if you wanted to, but I'm going to add a photo just for fun, just to slow things down altogether. So here's one that I found earlier. And as that's loading, I'm going to hopefully, I don't know if I've got the right thing here. Right. When was the last time you were on a train? So remember, asking a question should mean that you get more engagement on your post. On the right-hand side here, I can see preview. If I was on Instagram as well, I'd get an Instagram preview, what it's going to look like on desktop, what it's going to look like on mobile. And actually for mobile, taking its time to load, on mobile, I could make this picture square. I think that's going to work a lot better, or I can do that for both. To make the picture square, I just click into the pencil here, click on square, and I can move this around so it still gets, they know what I'm talking about, trains. Just wait while that loads. Okay, so that's my post. That's what it's showing me. And I can add some things to my post here as well. So I can add my location, which is good because you can add your location here, so people will find you. You can add a messenger button. You can boost your post directly from here as well. And then you can either publish now, you can schedule it for later, or save as a draft. So if I go into schedule, I get to choose my time. And if I was scheduling to Instagram, it would give me the option to change at a different time for Instagram as well. Right, so let's look at how it works on mobile now. So if you've been using it on desktop only, like most of you have, you're probably not aware even that there is a mobile app. but there is. And what I like about both Business Suite here and this new way of using Facebook and Business Suite on mobile is you don't get distracted by personal stuff. You don't end up getting a notification that, you know, Colin's got a new dog and getting distracted for the whole day. I'm just going to share my phone screen. Fingers crossed, everything's going to work. Still waiting for it to share. There we go. It happened. I'm so happy. So here, exactly the same process. You can either click create post in the middle of the screen or click the plus button, go through that whole process again. So let's go into photo, click on next. There were loads of selfies of me. And, you know, what was I asking? Well, I'm going to say, when was the last time you were in London? So there we go. And that's where you can add all that, get messages, add your location, etc. in there as well. If I click on the next button, I've got that option to schedule for later, and I can choose my schedule there as well. Now that's all screen grabbed in the slides, just in case you didn't follow along there, which you'll get a copy of. I've taken step by step so that you're able to follow along again. Right, so now I need to go back to Google Chrome. So here we are back in Google Chrome. We've looked at scheduling content, but the next thing to look at is our insights. So if I click into this Insights tab, and actually I'm going to switch over to my own page here because this is a test page. There is no content. So there is no insights to show you. So just while I do that, I'm just going to switch to my stop sharing for a second. So you're going to see my lovely face, and I'm just going to switch to my own account. It might just take me a moment because I seem to manage an awful lot of pages. Here we go. So I had to go into my own page because it was the only way that I could show you up-to-date insights. So I'm just going to click into it again. So hopefully it will show me my summary card. Right. So if I click into insights, it's not normally you get a summary card up here that will give you statistics since the last time you looked in, just a quick snapshot of how you're doing. This is your overview page, and this is worth, so the first thing I'm going to say is you're going to pick a couple of statistics that you want to, a few statistics that you're going to measure on a regular basis. Set a time and date in your calendar. So maybe it's going to be the first Monday of each month, or maybe you want to do it weekly. Monthly, I would say, is the minimum, that you're just going to go and grab these statistics, and it will give you a rough idea of how you're doing. So from this summary page, you've got a rough idea of your results, your Facebook page reach, your Instagram reach, an idea of how your content is doing, if you're growing your audience, stuff along those lines. But then we want to break it down. So on the left-hand side, we've got results. And here again, it will show you Facebook and Instagram because I have both connected here. I can see both. So I can see I had a little bit of a spike there in my Instagram reach. I wonder what I did. And that's exactly the sort of information this gives you. I can go back and look at the 29th of September and see what I posted that meant I got the most reach. I secretly know it was a reel. Then I can go down and have a look at my profile visits. And what I find really interesting here is if you can work out how many people visited your profile and how many followers you got as a result of that. So I can see that in the last 28 days, 47 people have visited my Instagram profile, 176 my Facebook profile, and I got 13 new followers on Instagram and none on Facebook. So people visiting my profile on Facebook isn't having a knock-on effect of me getting new likes or new followers, where it is on Instagram. In fact, I'm getting around between 3 and 4 for each profile visit. So that's always an interesting statistic to look at. Audience then brings you in, and it shows you a lot less than it used to. You used to be able to get much more detailed information here, but you can see your age and gender. This kind of mimics a little bit that graph I showed you of Facebook users earlier on, doesn't it? You can see where in the world, or which cities they're from, and you can see where in the world they're from as well. So luckily, most of mine are Ireland. Benchmarking on the left-hand side, I love this. If you have some competitors and you want to see how you are performing against them on Facebook, you can add them here. So you just click add a business, search for them, and it will bring in their public statistics. So here we can see Andrew and Pete, who are actually friends of mine. I wouldn't consider them competitors, but there you go. We've got a similar size Facebook page, so they're a good one for me to measure myself against. But I can see that I've got 46, I've grown my audience by 46 and they've grown their audience by 10. So I can feel chuffed that I'm doing better than them. But I've also posted 38 pieces of content and they've only posted 5. I've also tried to compare myself with Social Media Examiner, which is ridiculous because they've got 576,000 people on their page. So obviously they're doing way better than me. This is a really cool way to see how you're doing against other people. The final section is if I go into content, if I go into overview, I can see which sort of posts are performing best for me on Facebook. And this is really interesting to me because the majority of my content is videos, but image posts are performing way better, both for reach and for, if I scroll down, engagement. Images are doing better than videos. Text is doing even better than any of those. So that's really interesting to look at. And, you know, that tells me I need to be posting more images and more text because they're getting a better reaction with my audience. And you can see this for your Facebook post, your Facebook stories as well. And the final one we're going to look at is content, because this brings you in a whole list of your content and how it's performed. So you can see its reach, but you can also see the engagement that you've got on that, including things like link clicks. There's not much to see here, but it's definitely worth having a look at that and looking at your best performing posts. Obviously, I only want to see Facebook here. So let me just... I can't work out just at that moment, but I'm looking at my best performing posts for Facebook only is what I'm looking for. So make a note of the statistics that you think are most important. I would take down my reach statistics. I would take things down like my audience to make sure I'm reaching the right place, but I'd also go for my most popular posts. What were my most popular posts and try and work out why that is. I'd also try and look at why my posts may have tanked over a certain amount of time. Is it the type of post that Facebook isn't liking right now, or is it because it wasn't engaging enough for my audience? So that was a very fast run through how to use Facebook for your business. We have got a few minutes left for questions. I didn't get a chance to see if any came in, so I'm sure you'll let me know. Just some key things to think about. Make sure, firstly, just make sure your page is optimized. That is the most important thing. Think of it like a second website. You want to make sure it's coming up in search. You want to make sure people know what action to take next. Use a variety of content types and styles. Try out those text on a color background and your link posts. Make sure each piece of content you put up there has a goal. So make sure you know why you are posting it and you're not just doing random acts of Facebook content. And make sure that you're recording key statistics at least monthly so you can see if the work that you're putting in is having an effect. So that's it from me.